So, in terms of potential, what is possible for Bulma Stark? Hey guys, MasakoX here. A lot of times I like to take a step back from the traditional what-ifs, which are more grounded in the tried and tested world of Dragonball, except for a few minor tweaks here or there, or an alternate direction for an otherwise well-known situation within the overall series. These kinds of things are stuff which are often talked about and of course debated within the fandom, and so people get the overall precedence which is being modified and then subsequently created into something new, which feels sort of right within the basic series structure. It feels natural. Then there are the times where we can just go for a loop and do something which is a little more off the wall but remains just about within the logic of the series. As is the case here with Bulma, the second main character of the original Dragon Ball series, but now, thanks to a different impulse and spontaneous action, she has managed to upgrade her place in the show from Tech Gal to Dragon Team member outright. This is the story of what might happen had Bulma trained like Goku. More specifically though, sort of blend of Goku and Yamcha. If you're new here, first of all, welcome. And secondly, if you are curious as to how and when this idea came to Bulma, it was after one tournament very early on where the engineer witnessed her friends displaying remarkable feats of agility and skill in the form of martial arts, and she decided right there that she wanted to get in on that too. Dull Comics on Twitter pitched the initial idea of that to me, and I quite liked it. But I felt like it could go one step further. Something that would utilize her mechanical know-how in conjunction with her desire for physical strength, using every facet of her talent pool instead of just carving out a new one out of the blue. What we have now is a Bulma with a powerful suit, and when it's at full power, can stand alongside the Dragon Team quite admirably, as well as strengthening the relationship between Yamcha and Bulma as they train together, and the former acts as sort of her teacher and boyfriend. Yeah, maybe a teacher with certain additional extracurricular activities. However, certain characters have arrived which have put this dynamic in jeopardy, despite the gains that have actually been received from it. In the last part, we had our heroes head to Namek, including the epic Sirebuster mech, merch for it by the way you can get at masako.cc/store, and then try to gain the Namekian Dragon Balls to revive their bald friends. However, they had to contend with Frieza. Is he bald? Well, it depends on how you would categorize alien baldness. Even though our hero's power is greater than it was in the original, it was still lacking when dealing with Frieza directly. They would still have to be quite roundabout with their acts around him. But, fortunately for our heroes, they happened across Guru's tower much sooner than before, purely by chance, when looking for their quarry, the Dragon Balls. As a result, they actually have one ball already promised to them, and the potential to unlock their, well, potential. We have that as well as a second encounter with Vegeta for Bulma. Will she keep her cool? We resume our story back at the tower, and Guru is continuing to stress the importance of their mission to gather the Dragon Balls before Frieza does. With Bulma sort of half listening and Yamcha hanging in on his every word, it sort of balances out. The Elder then drops the idea that he could help them in some other way.
My body may be past its prime, but I have something that might help you reach your prime. You, come stand beside me.
He motions for Yamcha to move forward, and he does. He can feel Guru's hand on top of his forehead. A couple of seconds later, a huge surge of magical energy courses through his body, and he can feel parts of it sparking with power that had never felt this kind of level of energy before. Sensations he'd never experienced. Just as soon as it started though, it was over. Master Guru? What did you do? I feel different.
I have tapped into your hidden potential, my dude, and brought it to the surface. You are now much stronger than you were before. It may not be enough to stop Frieza outright,
Guru then smiles mischievously,
but at least you can give his men a lot of trouble.
Yamcha is mesmerized by this surge. His power, at least what he could tell, had increased around about fourfold. And if you're wondering about my calculations here, Krillin's power, when he had his potential unlocked, increased 5 times from about 2600 to 13,000 in the original. And since I think Yamcha's potential isn't quite as big as Krillin's, hence why I've come up with that figure.
Young Bulma, come here. You may receive the same.
He gestures for Bulma to approach him, but she's not paying attention. Yamcha then taps her firmly on the shoulder, looking a little annoyed at the situation. Bulma, get with it! What's gotten into you? This guy's gonna make us strong in seconds! What? Oh, yeah, sure. She walks up to Guru and he does the same to her. She feels a similar surge to Yamcha's, but it's not just the feeling of strength that she gets increasing. Her mind explodes with newfound neural connections. Her brain feels like it's expanding, swelling, despite not literally, of course. This isn't going to be a Dr. Wheeler situation here. We're not going to have Bulma as a brain in a jar. Yamcha is confused though. Her power hadn't gone up as much as his had done. Did that mean that she didn't have that much potential? Hey Guru, how come our power isn't as big as mine?
Simple, Yamcha. Her potential lies in other avenues. I could sense Bulma's mind was quite prodigious for her kind. Unlocking said potential varies from being to being. Her mind is now the greatest on Earth.
Bulma stumbles a little, not sure how to process this sudden increase in brain power. It was actually quite draining. I feel weird, but it's a good feeling, like I know everything. One thing she knew right now that her mind was calming down from that jolt, was how to handle Vegeta. Her mind was clear for the first time in weeks. To hiffle with that brute. All that would come from getting close to him would be pain for Yamcha and frustration for herself. Speaking of the prince, Vegeta was successful in his capture of a Namekian village and has now hidden that Dragon Ball from view after dispatching Dodoria. He is riding a high right now, and thanks to his new skill of sensing energy, which he is still getting a handle of, he can sense that Earth woman with the suit is nearby.
What are the odds of seeing her again? Well, if she knows what's good for her, she better not mess with me. Without that suit, she's powerless.
Maybe if the opportunity arises, he could steal that suit to ensure she doesn't get in the way. However, before he can actually do anything about it, he is distracted by Zarbon, who is approaching, having been sent by Frieza to find Dodoria, and we all know how that goes. Either way, both Vegeta and Bulma are aware of each other's presence on Namek. Goku's almost on Namek and raring to go to help after getting some intel from King Kai. He had been told by his latest teacher that Frieza, the scoundrel of the galaxy, had descended upon Namek, and it would be best suited for Goku to try and avoid him. But at the same time, he does say that Goku's friends had gotten caught in the middle of it. He had better get there and try and help them. Goku was ready for this, and he knew that he could easily put an end to that Frieza guy, despite King Kai thinking that he couldn't. I mean, come on, he gained Kaioken times 20 in space whilst training. He felt better than ever. Goku's impending arrival had been picked up by the Sire-Buster, which sent a ping to Bulma's armor so they knew that he was fast approaching. That's good news. Yamcha is excited to get back to the others to tell them the good news, but Bulma tells him to hold back for now.
Why don't we go, Bulma? We got great news. Goku's almost here. We got this.
Think about it, hon. If we go speeding off like that, it's gonna be picked up by scouters everywhere.
Huh. Well, yeah, you're right. I didn't think about that. Man, that brain upgrade is pretty sweet, babe. That was a close one.
Bulma feels pretty bullish right now. She was indeed quite satisfied with her sudden rationale, but then she detects a Dragon Ball nearby on her inbuilt radar and is curious to nab it on the way home.
Hey, do you mind taking this ball? I see another one on my radar. I'll catch up.
Yamcha nods and continues his course back to base with Bulma breaking off. As Bulma gets closer to the Dragon Ball, she can sense two powers duking it out in the distance, Zarbon and Vegeta. What was that monkey getting himself into now? Well, no matter. Her new, more logical mind eschewed that crush and instead focused on the job in hand, grabbing that Dragon Ball. But it's not on the ground. It seems to be underwater. She activates her armor's visor and she descends to the depths, feeling very glad that her suit was now waterproof, unlike back in the day, if you remember, when that was actually a major flaw in her design. Now carrying this second ball, she catches up to Yamcha. As for Vegeta, he is down and now being brought back to Frieza's ship for questioning and obviously recovery to be then humiliated. By the time Vegeta has recovered and, escaped, having tossed the Dragon Balls on Frieza's ship to places unknown, Bulma and Yamcha are now successfully back at base with now 2 Dragon Balls of their own. Unlike the original, there is no encounter in the middle of nowhere. Yet. The Sire Buster computer tells everybody that Goku will be here in 3 hours time, so the best thing to do now would be just to stay here, guard the Dragon Balls they have, and just wait for him to arrive before further acquisition. Speaking of acquisition, Gohan then notices on his radar that the balls have moved on there from where they were, to which Bulma confirms.
Huh, that's odd. They all moved at the same time. Why would Frieza move them now? Unless...
Bulma thinks for a moment and concentrates. She can sense Vegeta's energy again, and it's stronger than ever. Whatever had happened, it meant that he had bought them some time.
I think the prince has put a fly in Frieza's ointment. So long as he doesn't know where these are,
She pats the 2 balls they have.
we have the power.
Piccolo scoffs at this.
Won't your power attract his attention?
What?
If he's wearing a scouter or whatever, he'll know where we are anyway. We haven't exactly been hiding our power lately. The way I see it, either we get rid of the balls or beat him to the punch.
Bulma blinks for a second and is now feeling quite sheepish. He was right. Sure, she'd become smarter than any human being that had ever lived, but that didn't matter if brains were being overridden by overconfidence. Yamcha offers to go and take Vegeta head on. He's feeling energized right now after his potential increase, as well as Kaioken. Bulma then offers to go too, and get the other balls, or as many as she can grab, whilst the bandit distracts the prince. Before they leave, they tell Piccolo and the others to head for Guru's place, as he could unlock their potential while things are quiet. Vegeta is now distracting Frieza. They've got a little bit of breathing space. It's best for everybody also to be at their peak for the battle ahead. With that, the group splits and goes about their business. Vegeta is heading back to the place he had hidden the ball, only to find nothing. He is absolutely livid. He blasts the water out of anger, which then gives Zarbon the signal he needs to step in.
My, baby lost his rattle, eh, Vegeta? How did you? You Saiyans aren't the most subtle of creatures. That and your hissy fit just now were the perfect means to find you. And end you.
Zarbon immediately powers up to his monster form. Vegeta gets into position, only to find Yamcha coming up behind him. He stands next to him, looking really, really nervous, Yamcha. He really did not want to be taking a direct approach with the prince. If it hadn't been for knowing Kaioken, he would have gladly stayed back at the base right now.
Friend of yours, Prince, says the monster Zarbon. Hardly. What are you doing here, Earthling? Where's your girlfriend? It's none of your business, short stuff. I've come to help you? Help? You've come to help your potential enemy? Yeah. You Earthlings are strange creatures. Fine, it doesn't matter to me. If you get in my way, though, I'll kill you.
Yamcha gulps hard, but powers up anyway. Zarbon is laughing at all this bickering.
Is this your idea of the cavalry? Pathetic. Now come at me. I will remind you how much of a bad idea it is to go up against...
Vegeta has rushed Zarbon like in the original and pierced his stomach. Yamcha is left horrified. That could have been him. But then he does some internal calculations. If he used Kaioken right now against Vegeta, he could actually win. That is, if he was actually allowed to use it. With Zarbon gone, the prince's attention then turns back to the bandit.
Why are you here? Is this about the Dragon Balls?
Yamcha wasn't expecting a round of 20 questions. No, Vegeta. We just were in the neighborhood and...
This is, isn't it? Haven't you got your own set? How greedy of you Earthlings to be using another world's set. You're just like us, never satisfied. You wouldn't happen to have something to do with my example being stolen, now would you?
Vegeta is right in Yamcha's personal space, glaring with fiery intent. Stand back, Vegeta! I'm stronger than we last met. I don't need Goku to make you regret your words.
Is that a challenge? Well, I am left wanting after that disappointment over there failed to live up to my expectations. If you say so, then I guess I can take out my pent-up rage out on you.
Oh man, Bulma better hurry. Frieza is now getting really nettled. Now that he'd registered Zarbon's passing, calls the Ginyu Force to the planet, as the other Dragon Team members are getting their potential tapped into. Dende then gets the ability to heal and everyone else getting stronger. Piccolo then talks to Nail telepathically, and the latter fills the former in on what had happened to their people. He then requests to spar with the now stronger Piccolo, and the two duke it out. As that's going on, Bulma has found the Dragon Balls all conveniently located in one place, and is preparing to gather them up, wishing that she had brought the other two balls with her so she could actually potentially, that is if they work the same way, wish on them right now, they could all go home. Just then though, she can sense 5 incredibly high powers heading towards the planet, and it fills her with dread. It fills everyone with dread. Yamcha and Vegeta had barely gotten started with their battle when the prince breaks it off, saying that the powers that were coming were no laughing matter. The Ginyu Force were here, and were ready to stop at nothing to put an end to everyone in Frieza's way. That being said, as Frieza is briefing his men about what to do here, Bulma gets another ping. Goku's ship had successfully landed, but it was on the other side of the planet. I guess she got her calculations wrong. She then realizes that she needs to use full power to get to the ship and tell Goku what was going on. She couldn't use the radio to ship them right now. What if the communication got intercepted by Frieza? She had no choice but to fly over there at record speed using the actual suit instead of a key to fly. As for Goku, his ship lands clumsily and he exits the craft feeling ready for anything. However, he too has realized that he is nowhere near where the action is. Okay, now what? And that's where we're going to be leaving things though for right now. So what do you guys think? Will Goku be able to help out more having arrived at the same time as the Ginyu Force? Would Bulma best be suited to helping out here rather than guiding Goku? Leave a comment below and let's get this discussion going. And I shall see you in the next video. Catch you later!